Hello. You're going to be hearing a fan in the background because it's really hot today. And then we've got the most beautiful bird life outside that is singing to us, which is amazing if we think about it. But that being said and done, let's see what we are going to talk about today. And one of the things that I want to talk about, and I think I might be making more than one video about this, is self-care. So, what is self-care as such? Self-care is when you look to yourself and you take time off to recharge your batteries. I'm not really good at this. I usually go until I fall apart, which isn't necessarily a good thing. So I have to schedule self-time, especially when I am really busy. I would literally plan, okay, so I'm going to go for 6 weeks and then I'm going to take a break. Now, the break can look like anything, but for me personally, it would be just get away. Get away from the noise, get away from the cars, get away from people. Just going, I love going to the mountains and just chilling. Like when I say to you, do as little as possible, I really do as little as possible. So why is self-care important? Self-care is quite important to make sure that we maintain our energy levels as well as our health. Now, as a wellness counselor, one of the first things that I would ask somebody that comes to see me, that says to me they are constantly tired, they are lethargic, they have got brain fog, we would explore their eating habits. Not to say that they are not eating healthily. It has to do with the vitamins and minerals that we are taking in. In other words, are we having enough vitamin B? Are we not having enough iron in our diet and stuff like that? In other words, there are areas that can affect how we feel. So I'm just going to step off for a moment and I just want to linger on this, but I'll pick up eventually again, if not in the next video. So let's quickly look at what do I as a wellness counselor look at when people come to me and they say to me that they are tired, they don't have the energy to get up in the morning, they're really just exhausted. I need to be able to look at a variety of things. It usually starts with eating habits, vitamins. Do you go out into nature? Maybe you're not a nature person and you absolutely hate nature, but movement. Do you walk? Do you gym? Do you perhaps enjoy just taking a stroll, or just sit in your garden outside and appreciate nature as such? Are you shorting vitamins and minerals? Maybe you aren't eating breakfast. All of these things, I'm not saying that not eating breakfast is wrong, but if it's impacting your health, then that is a challenge. So that is the one aspect that I look at. Then I look at the aspect of self-care. When last did you give yourself a break? When last did you take a break? When last did you recharge your batteries? When last did you just go, I'm done with the world? Because that's usually what sucks our energy into a whole new level of finished, is interactions with people. It can be interactions with loved ones. It can be interactions with people at work. It doesn't really matter. We need a break sometimes. We need some alone time. And self-care is usually something that is neglected because it's not exactly taught. It's not explored and explained as we are growing up and maturing. I, for one, never really saw my parents doing any self-care. In the house I grew up in, it was go. I think the only self-care I saw about was my father that would sit on the stoop 5 o'clock in the morning reading his Farmer's Weekly. And that was about it. Now and again, my dad would have the time to go and sit outside. After he retired, obviously he had more time to do that. But while he was working, he would work outside. He would be trimming the trees and watering the plants and cutting the grass, and my mom was the same. I mean, my mom would sit for maybe 10-15 minutes, and then she would jump up and she would, go and make tea, or she'd start baking or stuff like that. So self-care in taking a break, taking a moment away from people, wasn't really mentioned. We were taught that, look, if you like baking, bake. If that makes you happy, you do that. If you enjoy sitting outside listening to birds under the trees, go and do that for yourself. Go and sit and read there under the trees. But breaking away from people never really came up, and this is something that a lot of us do not take into account, is that yes, you might enjoy sitting and reading under a tree, and you might enjoy lying in a bath, bubble bath, candles. Yes, I can't remember when last I did that. Things like that is taking time for yourself, and there's nothing wrong with it. You should do that at least once a day. Once a day, if it means you need to take a mindfulness moment and just listen to your heartbeat and pay attention to the breath in your lungs and listen to the birds and just let the sun bake on your face. If that is your moment of self-care, then you do that. But in the same breath, I want to give you permission to sometimes take a break from people. As a mom, I know that there's a stigma around that you have to be with your kids constantly and support them and love them. But at some point, you need to understand that if you do not look after yourself and you don't take a break, you're going to feel more guilty about when you do snap at them, because you're going to constantly second guess yourself and ask, am I snapping because it deserved a snap, or am I snapping because I am the one that needs a break but I don't want to take one, or I don't want to admit to myself that I need one? So self-care is important, and I'm hereby officially giving you permission to take a break from people as well. As much as you lie in the bath and you have your candles, the fact that somebody walks in and sits there and chats with you disrupts your self-care time. And if your own self-care is being neglected, it's going to show up in how you treat other people. So to make sure that you are fair and just and not overwhelmed, overworked, overstressed, you need to make time to do things that you enjoy, but you also need to make time to be alone, away from people. It will help you to process what has transpired through your day. Maybe you had a difficult day, and the quiet alone time gives you time to think. Now, a lot of us would take that time when we climb into bed and we don't have anything to say to the person next to us. We start processing the day. But I found that if I do that, I sometimes lie awake for 2 hours processing, which basically means I only get like 4 hours sleep. Or 5 hours sleep, let's not lie. So I struggle to function on 5 hours sleep, and I am not taking any medication to sleep. That is a story for another day. But the point is, scheduling processing time before I go to bed. Even if the simple conversation is, I'm going to have a bath and nobody comes into the bathroom. Me lying there for like 20 minutes, relaxing in the water, I prioritize what are the things that are bothering me and I work through that. What are the things that I have gratitude for, things that could have gone worse but it didn't. So that leads to gratitude. Things that I would like to address, things that I would like to talk further on or explore or research or whatever the matter is. And when I get out of the bath, the things that are at the top of my mind, like I'm scared I'm going to forget, I usually jot down on a piece of paper and then I either address it when I'm ready or I address it the next day. So that's just something about that. See you in the next video. This one is getting too long.